morning again, my friends, and welcome to the beautiful state of Maryland on the banks of the Susquehanna River here at Susquehanna State Park. We're going to be exploring this park today, which hugs the beautiful and expansive river here and has some hills and some historic sites and other things, and just going to check it out. I've never been here before, and let's give it a review and let's see what we see. Let's go for an adventure. Let's hit that trail. Gator out. All right, so the area where I'm parked at is called the Railroad Trestle, and there's an old abandoned railroad line here that runs parallel to the river. So I want to check that out first and hopefully return back to the parking area on the ridge above on the ridge trail. Okay guys, now I don't think this is an official trail, but people clearly use it and it runs along the river here, so it seemed like a nice way to start the adventure today. We should be coming to some ruins or in a historic area in about a half a mile, quarter mile. It's an absolutely beautiful morning out here today. Just spotted a huge great blue heron on the bank of the river, and he flew off to the middle of the river. But you could tell the seasons are changing and spring is around the corner because it's getting warm out. All right guys, well, I'm starting to get the lay of the land a little bit here in the park, and we appear to be in the central historic district. There's some old buildings here dating back to the 1700s and the 1800s. So before we continue on our hike, let's just check out some of these cool older buildings. All right guys, now what do you think this is? It's a little creepy. All right. right, that was pretty awesome in there. I don't know if that door was closed, but it wasn't locked. There was no sign saying not to go in, so I checked it out. Pretty cool in there. Let's continue on. This is the spring house. We were just in the carriage house. You can see the water coming from underneath the building. Guys, I gotta tell you, what a little gem. I had no expectation of seeing all this, and there's nobody around. It's absolutely lovely, and like I always say, let's go for an adventure. You never know what you're gonna see, and this is just awesome. Historic little town here, very well designed and set up, and just good stuff. Beautiful. We're back on that old railroad line trail now. There actually was a sign that said it's an unmaintained trail, but it is a trail. And looking out at some islands on the Susquehanna River, and you can see how the rail line is completely washed out. It's pretty crazy. Looks like we made it to the end of the trail along the waterway, and we're at a large parking area where people can fish and picnic and put their boats in. So I'm going to take a break here, and then we'll start the return trip on the ridge, on the hillside above the creek, above the river. Alright guys, well, this really was the perfect spot to take a nice little break, and now we're going to find the Susquehanna Ridge Trail and begin to make our return. But just sitting here and enjoying the view and seeing the birds, and of course that is I-95 in the distance. If you've ever traveled south on I-95 over the Susquehanna River here in Maryland, you've been on that bridge. But time to get back to hiking. Let's go.
Let's go.
Finally, our first chance to get into some actual woods, some mature second generation hardwoods, primarily oak and tulip, poplar. One thing to point out about this Susquehanna Ridge Trail here in the park, that's the name they give it, but it's actually just a small piece of the larger Mason-Dixon Trail that runs for many, many miles along the Susquehanna River all the way up into Pennsylvania. Following pretty high above the river now, and I don't know if there's going to be any actual viewpoints, like clearings, because I didn't see any from the bottom. There might be, but you get a pretty good view of the Susquehanna River out there, the islands, and the shoreline on the other side. It's nice. We are just continuing along the ridge trail here, and I gotta say, it's a nice trail to walk on. Nice and soft, no rocks, and I do see some tire tracks. So this trail is also used for mountain bikers. Only came across one person so far. He was jogging, and this is what it looked like. Nice tall straight trees here, growing straight as an arrow. We're back in the main historic area now, and that beautiful man-made waterfall is actually part of this entire complex. And it's a fascinating story of how they created that pond. They created the dam and the waterfall to use to power the mill down there by the river. But if you're going to see one thing in this Susquehanna State Park, you know, be sure to see the river, but be sure to check out this historic area. There's some nice little trails. It's great for kids and families, and it's really beautiful, and this was a real treat. Well, looks like we have ourselves a real old-fashioned water crossing. The trail, there's a marker, there's the markers on the other side, so we're gonna have to cross the stream here, maybe get our feet a little wet. Okay, all right, my friends, we made it back to the car. We completed the loop along the river and then up above the river with the historic area in the middle of the trail. It's midday, gonna grab something to eat, head home, and another successful hike. You can see, you can hear the cars, and the traffic is picking up, the crowds are picking up, and it's getting warm out. So that's gonna be it for today, and thanks for coming along on another adventure, and I'll see you on the trail. Gator out.